Hello friends, this video on NEET ecology is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Question number 13. Animals have the innate ability to escape from predation. Examples for the same are given below. Select the incorrect example. A. Enlargement of body size by swallowing air in pufferfish. B. Melanism in moths. C. Poison fangs in snakes. D. Color change in chameleon. Okay, so here we are talking about the ability in animals to escape from predation. That means to hide themselves from their predators. So let us look at the first option, enlargement of body size by swallowing air in pufferfish. Now, pufferfish has a special ability that they can inflate themselves into a ball-shaped structure to protect them from predators. Now, if you get a chance, just have a look at a picture of a pufferfish and you would see that they become into the shape of a ball that it is hard to believe that it's a fish. So, because of which many a times it helps them to protect from predators. So, this is obviously true. Next one is melanism in moths. Now the moths are melanized, that is they are dark in color, so they kind of blend with the dark background color due to industrial smoke and soot, and that's how they again protect themselves from their predators. Poison fangs in snakes. Now fangs in snakes produce a poisonous liquid which is called venom. So the poison fangs, the fangs produce a poisonous liquid called venom. And this venom helps to kill and paralyze the prey. So basically the venom helps the snakes to catch their prey. Now in fact you would have seen that when a snake bites, what happens? This poison, that is the venom, works immediately and kills the prey. So in this case, the poison fangs don't really protect the snakes from the predators. Instead, it helps the snake to catch its prey. So therefore, the correct example is this one. And again, if you talk about chameleon, it has the ability to change its color. So depending upon the color of the surroundings, it changes its color so that nobody else can see its presence. Question number 14. What is a keystone species? Now, what is it? Keystone species. Key means important. So, keystone species are those which are smaller in number. So, population wise, they are quite small, but role wise, they play a very critical role in the ecosystem. So, a species which makes up only a small portion of the total biomass of a community, yet has a huge impact on the community's organization and survival. So, option A is the correct option. Now, if you consider examples, you can think of the figs which you have in the tropical forests. So, figs are an example of keystone species in tropical forests. Sea otter is an example of keystone species in the Pacific Northwest. So, sea otter in the Pacific Northwest. Now, why these are examples of keystone species? Because sea otter, even though they form only a small proportion of the community, but they eat sea urchins and therefore control their population. So, they play a very critical role in controlling the population of sea urchin. So, therefore, they fall under the category of keystone species. Question number 15. Which one of the following areas in India is a hotspot of biodiversity? What is hotspot of biodiversity? So we have already learned about hotspot, that it represents that area where you have huge biodiversity, that is you have huge categories or huge types of plant and animal species, but at the same time it is under threat of extinction. That is almost 70% of this has been lost as habitat. So these are the two criteria for a region to be called as hotspot of biodiversity. So in India we do have certain hotspots. So out of these, Western Ghats would be an example of hotspot of biodiversity. Other than that, the Eastern Himalayas or the Indo-Burma border, they are also examples of hotspots. Question number 16. Choose the correct sequence of stages of growth curve for bacteria. lag, log, stationary, decline phase. Now let us quickly look at the growth curve of a bacteria. This is how the growth curve looks like. So if you see, initially there is a lag phase when you do not see a very prominent growth. Then you see a very prominent growth, like exponential growth is seen. After that it comes to a stationary phase, and finally a declining phase or the death phase. So lag, exponential. So exponential is also called log phase, then stationary phase, and then death phase. So death phase is also called decline phase. So option A is the right one. Question number 17. Special kinds of roots called pneumatophores are characteristics of the plants growing in sandy soils, saline soils, marshy places, and salt lakes, dryland regions. Now, what are pneumatophores? We had been learning about pneumatophores some time back, isn't it? So pneumatophores are specialized aerial roots, that is, they are negatively geotropic roots, which is not very common for roots because roots are normally positively geotropic. But pneumatophores are specialized aerial roots which are negatively geotropic. They have small pore-like structures called lenticels which help in gaseous exchange. So pneumatophores are characteristic roots for mangrove plants. So such roots stick up out of the soil like straws. They are straw-like structures and they help in breathing. So pneumatophores are often known as breathing roots also. So they are characteristic of the mangrove plants. What are mangrove plants? Plants which grow in marshy areas. So the correct option is C. Question number 18. The concept that population tends to increase geometrically while food supply increases arithmetically was put forward by. So this concept was put forward by Malthus, and he had put forward the Malthusian theory of population, where he told that human populations grow exponentially while food production grows at arithmetic rate. So human population is increasing very fast, exponentially, but food production is increasing quite slow when compared to that. So the right option is D. Now Malthus had written a book called Essay on the Principle of Population. Essay on the Principle of Population. So this was a very famous book written by Malthus, and within this book he had mentioned about this theory of population. Now when we say exponential growth, exponential means that it doubles with each cycle, like from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16. So that is exponential growth. But when we talk about arithmetic growth would mean a repeated addition of a uniform increment at each level, like from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. So like it's like an increment of 1 at every level. So when you add the same thing at every level, then what happens? So the overall growth is less, but in this case it is exponential, like from 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32. So you see that in 6 steps you reached from 1 to 32. But in this case, if you start from 1, and let's say that if the arithmetic rate is 2, that means it is increasing by 2. So 1 plus 2 would be 3, 3 plus 2 would be 5, 5 plus 2 would be 7, 7 plus 2 would be 9. 9 plus 2 would be 11. So you see, in this case, in 6 steps, you could reach from 1 to 11. But here in 6 steps, you could reach from 1 to 32. So exponential growth is like very fast when compared to arithmetic growth. Thank you. Please visit examfear.com for free quality education. You can learn with a simple 4-step learning process wherein you can watch video lessons, you can ask your questions, you can refer notes, and you can take a free online test. We have content for class 6 to 12 on physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology along with practical videos. So please subscribe to our channel for daily updates. Thank you.